Well, hey friends, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast for women who want to find freedom in both their life and in their business. I own a multi-7-figure-a-year coaching business. I'm also a certified life coach. So I have the honor of helping thousands of women every single month make money in the online space and help them to get unstuck from whatever is holding them back, all without sacrificing their faith or their family. In this show, you're going to get the very best life and business advice, always with a healthy dose of Jesus. So buckle in, my friend. I'm so excited that you are here. Well, hey there, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm talking to you today on episode 334 about fear and about how often fear is the price of entry. So listen, I get a lot of DMs. I love my DMs, by the way. If you ever want to send me a DM, can I just say, first of all, send it to me on Instagram because they are way more fun for me than what the DMs on Facebook are. So I tend to give precedence to Instagram DMs. I always look at those first. Facebook, I only look at a couple times a week. So send me a DM on Instagram, not Facebook. All right. Little helpful sidebar. The people in the DMs on Instagram are way kinder than the people in the DMs on Facebook. There, I said what I said. I said what I said, and I'll stand behind that. So anyhow, I get a lot of DMs. And I love DMs. I have literally said to the Lord before, like, look, if I ever don't have time to acknowledge people and see them and talk to them in my DMs, then I probably no longer deserve the platform that I have. And I literally mean that. So with that being said, I try to respond to a lot of your DMs. So I got a DM from a sweet lady. I did not take note of her name. I'm so sorry. I wouldn't out her anyway, but I would say her first name. But anyway, she was getting ready to launch something. I can't remember now if it was like consulting, if it was a course or a paid group or anyway, but I just remember the last line, which was, I'm so afraid. So I'm getting ready to launch XYZ. I've been working on this for a million years and I'm so afraid. And I sent this topic then, my team and I, we have a channel on Voxer, which is like the greatest app ever for your phone. And so we have a Voxer thread called podcast. So I sent it to the podcast thread and I said, let me do a podcast episode on this one comment. I am so afraid, because I responded to her, but I had to like really measure my words because I was afraid that it was going to, that I was going to respond to her in a way that perhaps if she was already feeling super sensitive, wouldn't hit quite the way that I wanted it to, and it would make her even feel worse. And so please know that what I'm about to say to you, I don't mean from like a super snarky way. Okay. Please know that my heart in saying what I'm about to say about you being afraid to do whatever it is that you feel like God's calling you to do right now, or whatever you feel like you're supposed to be doing right now, whatever dream it is that you've got in your heart. I promise you, I'm not trying to be snarky, but I'm trying to like wake you up, and I'm trying to like shake you. And I'm trying to be like, girl, you don't have time to be all up in your feelings. Okay. So listen, here's what I want to say to you. Whenever somebody says something like, I'm so afraid, what I want to say back is, why do you think that you get to do anything without feeling fear? Like, why do you think that you're the only one that gets to launch something without being scared? Because we're all scared. We all get nervous. We all wonder, will anybody buy? Is this the time nobody does? Is this the time that I don't know what I'm talking about? Will everybody see right through me? Am I an imposter? Like, that is normal thinking, especially in the beginning stages of building your online business. And so when someone says to me, I'm so scared, I want to say back, I mean, yeah, okay. Like, so what? And I know that probably sounds so abrasive to say, so what? But literally, like, so what? I don't care that you're scared. You still have something that you have to do, right? It's because here's what I think we need to really pay attention to, that I'm so scared or I'm so afraid. It's declared as if like, well, then that makes it okay for you to stall and for you to get stuck and for you to not do the thing that you feel like you're called to do. I'm so scared. I'm so afraid. As if that makes it okay for you to completely just push pause and forego any momentum. And I think we forget that every single thing that we do that or at least for the most part, I'm sure there are probably some examples I'm not thinking of, that freedom is attached to. They were all scary initially. Okay. Can I give you some examples? I'm going to give you some examples. All right. The first time when each of us was a toddler and we were learning how to walk, I'm sure we were nervous as we were trying to get our footing and our legs felt like jello and we were trying to go from a crawling position into upright. I'm sure we were all scared a little bit. The first time each of us rode a bike, I'm sure, I mean, when I look at our daughter Ari and how Jason taught her how to ride a bike a few years ago, she was terrified, just tears streaming down her face. The first time you do something, it's scary, right? Like, why do we think we're going to be the only one that gets to have a different path? Why do we think we're the only one that gets to like put together a marriage course and launch it out into the world for the first time? And we're the only one that gets to be not afraid. It just doesn't work like that. I want you to think back to the first time that you drove, without somebody in the car, or the first time you were behind the wheel with your parent, in the other seat. Remember how scary that was? When you've never done something, of course, there's an element of fear that, by the way, is not bad. It's your brain's way of trying to protect you from death. Okay. Think about like all of the things that you've done that have been so scary, but on the other side of that, there was so much freedom. I mean, the first time you learned how to walk, baby, then you learn how to run, right? First time you ride a bike, now you can be cruising up and down the neighborhood. First time you learn how to drive, and then suddenly you're gone all the time. Like there's so much freedom attached to doing it in spite of feeling scared. Okay, so then let's fast forward a little bit. So you've learned how to walk, you've learned how to drive, you've, learned how to do all those things. And now you're wanting to quit your 9-to-5. And you are wanting to start a business in the online space. And now you're wanting to sell, children's clothing in an online boutique. And you feel scared and you feel fear. And my question to you is this, like, why do you think you get to do this thing where so much freedom is on the other side of it? And you're thinking that it's okay just to stop because you're scared. To which I will say to you, like, this is how I've heard other people phrase it. Fear is literally the price of entry. Like you can't get the freedom that you're wanting in your life if you allow fear to be the thing that stops you. And I hate it when I hear people, wearing their Nike no fear shirts and, kick fear in the face. And I hate that because I talked about this in Fear is Not the Boss of You. I know none of us want to feel scared, but the way to get through it is to go just that straight through it. I mean, no fear sounds great, but the majority of us are going to be scared. No fear sounds good if you're a t-shirt. The truth is, the first time that you put a Bible study up for sale, or the first time that you talk about how you're going to have a homeschooling group now, you are going to be nervous about it. You are going to feel certain emotions, and you've got to train yourself to do it in spite of. You have to train that muscle. Okay, I feel it. I feel scared. This feels big. This feels hard. I've done other big things in my past. I've done other hard things in my past. It did not kill me then. It will not kill me now. I'm going to continue to put one foot in front of the other, regardless of how I feel, because fear is just a feeling, friends. It's just a feeling. Many of you know that I got my life coaching certification almost a year ago. Paid lots and lots of dollars for that certification and was doing 5 months of basically college, type work. And if I was to have you in my life coaching group right now, and if you did not know that I have a life coaching group, I do. Send me a DM on Instagram. I'll give you a link to get in there. It's called Reframed Life Coaching. It's not a free group because I don't teach women to work for free. There's plenty of other things I do for free, including this podcast. But we talk about this sort of thing a lot. Okay. So here is basically how I was trained in life coaching and how most life coaches train to look at a situation. Okay. So you have a situation, and in that lady's case who was so afraid, let's just say it was launching her consulting, okay? And then she has a thought about that. Her thought was, I'm so scared. So when you start to think a certain thing, then different emotions are going to start bubbling up. So when she's thinking, I'm so scared, then she's going to start to feel panicky. She's going to start to feel pressured. She's going to start to feel possibly like just, turning tail and running in the other direction. And so whatever you are feeling based on what you're thinking, that will produce, the outcome of what you actually do. So if you're thinking, I am so scared, and that makes you feel really panicky and pressured, you'll start behaving in a super needy way. You'll take your foot off of the gas. You'll go into that launch half-heartedly. You'll just dip your toes in it versus just going balls to the wall. That's how it works. And so when you're talking about doing something new in your business that you've never done, or quitting your job and going all in on your business, please be so careful of your thoughts, even what you're just sending me in your DMs, because your words matter. The Bible says that there is life or death in your words. The Bible also says that we cannot have blessings and curses both come out of our mouth at the same time. So don't curse the very thing that you're wanting to do. Don't be speaking curses over it about how you're feeling, how it's so scary, all of the things. You've got to flip the script. You literally have to. So instead of, let's say back that example of maybe she was launching her consulting, instead of messaging me, I'm so scared, what she could message me is, I am about to learn so many new things. Do you want to know why? Because the difference between I am so scared and I'm about to learn a lot is just light years away. What your brain does when you say, I'm so scared, is it puts your body into this fight or flight thing. And you start putting up all these walls and you start behaving in ways you are accustomed to behaving that your brain has set you up for because it's helped you to stay safe in the past. And what you need to do is you need to have a different thought. If you think to yourself, I can't wait to learn so much from launching my consulting, that will do completely different things in your brain. That is going to set you up to come from a completely different angle. Because then instead of feeling panicky and pressured, you're feeling like expectant and excited. And then you behave in a way that is congruent with that. I remember back years ago when I used to triathlon all the time. And I did 10 triathlons in a 6-year period. A lot of them with my dear, dear friend, Shauna Oots, who is a personal trainer. And I can remember one time because she was one of the people that taught me how to swim. I had never put my head underwater until I was 39 years old and hired a swim coach. And I did my first triathlon for my 40th birthday. So yes, that was a decade ago. And I can remember on one of my very first triathlons, in fact, it could have been the very first one. I'm standing on the sidelines that morning in our, spandex swimsuits, in my swim cap, my goggles are ready to go. And I'm like, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. And Shauna looks at me and she's like, Jen, you can't just repeat to yourself, I'm so scared. She's like, because when you're saying I'm so scared, your brain is secreting completely different chemicals than if you were to switch your words to I'm so excited. When you say I'm so excited, your brain it completely secretes other chemicals, hormones, who knows what they are. I am not a doctor, but that will make you feel more excitement, that will put you in more of a position of power. Your body will step up to whatever it is that you're speaking about your situation. And so if you are someone who is having the hardest time getting something launched, examine your words. Are you saying things like, I'm so afraid, I'm so scared? Watch what you're saying, my friends. Your words have weight. God spoke the world into existence. He didn't think the world into existence. He spoke it. This is what makes those of us who are believers so different from people who are new age. Because a lot of them just want to use meditation and mantras and their thoughts to do things. The Bible says we're to speak things they're not as though they are. So that doesn't mean that we're liars. That's not what that's saying. But that's saying that even if you don't feel excited, you can still say, I am so excited that I'm about to try something new. And there could be freedom on the other side of that. That is setting your brain and your body and your results up for success. Oh man, I hope that this was helpful for someone today. I kind of went clear off of my notes. Whenever that happens, I'm like, oh, well, there you are, Lord. Thank you for just, shifting that ever so slightly so that it lands with somebody that is listening today. In fact, as I'm sitting here talking, I can tell the Holy Spirit is saying, this is going to land so appropriately, so perfect for a handful of you that you needed to hear this. This is the gap bridger. This is what's going wrong right now between where you are and where you want to be. It's the words that you're saying and the position that you're speaking from, and the fact that you're thinking it's abnormal to have fear, and it's not. You've got to learn how to do it in spite of, how to talk about your fear in a different way, how to go on in spite of that, because so often your freedom is just on the other side of that. All right. So you know if this podcast was for you today. And it always is helpful to me if I know that it was for somebody in particular also. So if that's you, just send me a DM, send me a screenshot, tag me on your Instagram stories or something. I would love to know who I'm speaking to today. And I want you to know I'm rooting for you. Again, it's never coming from a spot of snarkiness, but I need you to know that we all wonder if we're going to have the results that we want. We all get nervous about something new that we're about to try. You're not the only one. You're not different. You can do it in spite of all of that. Just know that I'm rooting for you. All righty? All right, my friends. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye. Friend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. I'm so honored that you come back for every episode and that you share the Jennifer Allwood Show with your friends and family. Every time I see you guys post about it on Instagram or Facebook or something, it just makes me do a little happy. So thank you. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast if you never want to miss an episode. So you can go to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify or any of the other podcasting places and subscribe each week so that every week you get the new episode when it releases. So just know that I love bringing you relevant content. I love bringing you great guests. And one of the ways you can help us here at Team Allwood is by leaving the podcast a review. So if you have just a second to do that, would you go over and leave a review for the Jennifer Allwood Show? Thank you again. You're amazing. I'm honored to be here. Until next week. Bye-bye.